What's going on, guys? I'm Leroy Funsweet, and today I'm going to be going over episode 5 of the Ultimate Beginner's Guide to Rocket League. This is going to be based on basic mechanics in the game, such as wave dashes, recoveries, how flips work in different positions, and things like that. So I'll start off by going through wave dashes. So I'll explain first what a wave dash is. Wave dash is where you basically cancel out your flip and use the momentum of the flip to go forwards. You can use this in any direction, so you can do this backwards as well, and you can do it sideways. So what I'm going to explain to you now is how to actually do it. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to just jump, tilt your car so some of the wheels are going to touch the ground before the others. So let's say you wanted to go forwards, you're going to want to lean back and flip forwards once the back wheels touch the ground. It's definitely recommended to hold down your power slide button when you do this, as it will maintain more momentum. If you do it wrong, if you mistime it, you'll do what I just done there, which is the flip forwards. If you do it properly, you can get up to supersonic usually in about 3 wave dashes. Sometimes 4. It does depend on if you're moving already before you start it. So yeah, that's pretty much it with wave dashes. They are quite useful, especially if you've got no boost and you're trying to move up the field quickly. You can do them off of the wall to maintain your momentum. So if you're going like supersonic on the wall, for example, you jump off and you wave dash, you'll still be going supersonic. Okay. Alright, so next I'm going to be going over the half flip. The half flip is basically, again, just cancelling out your flip and changing the direction that you're going. So if you're going forward and you need to go backwards, do a backwards diagonal flip and hold up on the analog stick as well. So backwards diagonal and straight to up. You can do this for going forwards as well. So frontwards diagonal flip and hold back, hold down. With this method, I find it's not as consistent in the games, especially if you don't use it a lot. The other method, which I would say is a lot more effective, is doing a normal backflip, holding up and air rolling to the side. I do have air roll right bound because it does make it easier to do that, but if you want, you can do it normally, but it seems to mess up a little bit if you use your normal air roll button. It's not always going to be perfect, whereas if you have air roll to a direction bound, it works pretty much every time. Timing is quite important with this as well. I would recommend to continue holding up on the analog stick if you've got air roll right or left bound, and that will make it more consistent every time. Again, this can work the other way as well. So if you wanted, you could flip forward, hold back, and do the same thing. Alright, so next I'm going to speak about flying in different directions. So of course you've got the normal upwards aerial, where your car's the right side up and just aerial and everything's normal, left is left, right is right, etc. But then you've also got flying backwards or upside down. Now when you're doing this, all of the controls will be reversed. Up is still up, down is still down, but left is right and right is left. There are a few good ways to practice this, pretty much just jumping off of the wall, trying to hit the ball whilst you're in this position. It's the way that I've practiced it mostly. It seems to have paid off for me. Definitely recommend giving it a go, but if you hit the ball in that position, you'll become more confident with it. You can just keep practicing, you can do it all the time, you can just hit the ball upside down or whatever, and then just go and do it again. Just keep sort of doing it over and over again. You will eventually get the hang of it. It's not something that's too difficult. I'd say it's a pretty basic mechanic, and it's very useful as well in matches, especially if you're doing sort of if the ball's gone up your wall here and you want to jump off and flick it or something. It's nice to be able to control your car without having to air roll first, without having to sort of do that. Which actually brings me to the next thing I wanted to talk about, which is how flips work when you're in different positions. So of course, if you're in the normal upright position, a front flip's a front flip, a back side flip's a side flip, back flip's a back flip. If you turn your car upside down, it still works the same way. So whatever way the front of your car is facing is where you're going to flip. If you do a front flip, and if your car's upside down and you do a back flip, it's going to do a back flip. it's not too hard to comprehend. It gets a little bit more difficult when you're doing sort of ceiling shots. So if you're doing a ceiling shot and you come off of the ceiling like that and you want to flip to the left, it's still pretty much the same thing. You just got to be confident with it. You can air roll, of course, if you need to, but it's not absolutely necessary. That brings me on to another thing I wanted to talk about, which is flip resets. So a flip reset is when you land all four wheels on a surface. So say you jump up off there, jump onto there, and now I've still got another flip. With that, you can, if you come off of the ground without jumping, your flip will last for an infinite amount of time. So I'll show you an example here. If I'm just going to drop down from the ceiling, just going to stay in the air for a few seconds to make sure, like, normally by now you would definitely have lost your jump, your flip even, but there we go, I still got it. So this works in many different ways. You can use this off of the ceiling, you can use this off of the top of the goal. If you get bumped into the air, you can use that as well. Which would actually bring me to the next part, which is recoveries. So if you do get bumped up into the air, you can use your flip as a basic recovery. One thing else I would recommend doing is holding your power slide. If you use your air roll to try and land on your wheels, and use your power slide so that you don't lose any momentum. Even if you was to land sideways, you still keep your momentum, rather than losing it entirely. So if you do that there, you just stop, and if I do it here, holding power slide, you keep going. Anything other than that, there's not really much I wanted to discuss regarding basic mechanics. There's still a lot to go through. Some more advanced mechanics would be like air dribbling and ceiling shots and flip resets off of the ball, which would just be by landing all four wheels on the ball at the same time, just like that. But you can do that in the air and on the ground. That's not a problem. If you did want me to go through sort of ceiling shots and air dribbles, I can do that in a separate video. Just let me know and I will do that for you. Thanks for watching, guys. Take it easy and peace.